listen, here's the thing about the podcast, right? What do we want for this podcast? What do
Great
we
fucking
really want?
question.
What do we want? And I'll tell you what, right? I've been puzzling, I've been musing over this, right? And I think, so we're both average drummers, right?
We're the
I'm going to put
everyman.
myself down as we're the every Joe Jim drummer, right? And I actually think that first and hey, listen, you can't outstick me. Look, it's right there, man. It's right there. Look, right there. So what I was going to say is so we've agreed there's a theme of drumming here,
Yeah.
right? There's a drum theme. We've also agreed that there's going to be kind of like a variant of pipe bandy kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think pipers definitely are down the bottom of the list in this show, right? Because there's just so much pipey stuff for them to be pipey about.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, really,
when people think it, when I tell people, right, I'm like, yeah, I play in a pipe band. And and I see them 2 weeks later and they go, "Oh, Jason, how's the bagpipes going? You play the bagpipes, right?" No.
It's the equivalent of dead naming you, isn't it? It's like you should say that. You should say you've just dead naming me. I said, what do you mean by that? Well, I told you I was a drummer. I'm sure I discussed that with you. I'm sure I explained sticks, skin.
Yeah.
So
when I think about this podcast, right, and we're the drummers, it's almost like, all right, we're giving drummers a voice because, it sounds lame when you put it that way, but like, I would argue as, where I am in my pipe drumming career, that the drumming is what makes the fucking music.
Hey, drumming wins it. However,
it's its own thing.
100%. But this is the other weird thing, right? So we've agreed the flavour of drums. And I'm going to say drums, right? Because this is another thing, right? And this is going to get people's hackles right up. I think that drummers are actually more musical than pipers, right? And that sounds controversial, right?
I didn't say.
But I actually genuinely, but it's controversial with pipers, right? But it's, you know what I mean? It's like, but I actually genuinely believe that drummers are more like considerate lovers. They're more considerate about other instruments, right?
A good drummer would be.
A good drummer gets what other guys are trying to do with their craft, their love, right? So we're kind of selfless people. I'm bigging us up here, but we're kind of selfless, right? I mean, well, what's this you're doing, and what you trying, what you trying to achieve? Pipers, it's only one call sign, and it's them. It's all about them. It's about their bags. It's about their drones. It's about tuning up. It's about how they look. It's about what they want to look like. It's about who they want to look like, looking like. So, to be truthful, right, I think we will discuss. We'll discuss interviews in a minute, but I think that's the vibe, and I don't think we should shy away from talking to kit drummers or discussing the realms of the genius that is a man that can bang and smash and graft with more than one drum and give it that great, that great sound.
Lady, what you're saying to me is this is my being. This is my whole thing, right? Because like I came from being a kit drummer, then going into being a snare drummer.
Yeah.
And this all started because, when I was 6 or whatever, my mum wanted me to learn piano, like every good Asian boy does. But
by the way, listen, that's a percussion instrument right there, my friend.
Exactly.
She's like that. I love drummers. Why not just
I want my son to be intelligent, hardworking, disciplined.
Listen, this is good because piano is a percussion instrument, right? And did you do piano? Did you do it for a while, or
I did it for about 6 or 7 years, right? And I really progressed there until I discovered, but I was playing classical, so it starts, as a kid, it's not cool, right? But then I discovered rock and roll, start playing drums, and I figured out that this is the way I want to go. And drumming, we can do it anywhere. Like we can do it with any kind of music. Every kind of music requires drumming. It maybe except classical, unless you play timpani.
Oh, no, timpani. You've got. I mean,
Snare. They have snares.
You've got snares as well. Boleros. You get like that's. What's it? There's hundreds with great snare sections in classical music that I've heard, which I don't know very much about. But
yeah,
right away I've clocked. It's required reading for percussion to be there. But my point is,
you've got to be good.
You've got to be really good. Not just good, you've got to be really good. Can't just swag it. Listen, I was talking to Jim last week. He's looking for a drummer. New York Philly or something. Yeah, I heard he's looking for a drummer, but so we were playing football together, and he was like, "Well, he's doing a guy, so I'm only come for the next 3 weeks. You're going to Prague for a tour or something?
Yeah, just come along.
Listen, I'll pick it up. I'll get it in the counter match. I'll pick it up. Tell that. You're the man. You're the guy. Yeah.
You don't have to do much. You don't have to do much. Just a couple of rolls here.
I think if I was going to say that I think that drumming, in the bizarre sense, is one of those instruments where you can kind of hoof with people and give it listen, I heard from Jim that you're looking for a guy for the club, and he's like toiling, so do you want me to plug in? And I mean, by and large, if it's a kind of relatively average band, you're probably going to get the shout. You've got to get the gig.
Just 4 to the floor.
So, anyway, so that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
The other thing I was thinking about is, so there's obviously podcasts about, like, I seen a chick or a woman, I don't know. Are we allowed to say chick? I don't know. We'll say chick anyway. So, but she's an old chick, and her name's Norma, and she was doing something paradiddles. And my wife sent me this clip on Facebook. She says, "Look, this woman's doing what you're wanting to do." And I says, "No, I'm not wanting to." I said, "I'm not wanting to do that." I says, "Because there's enough people doing like tutorials on drumming." I says, and it's like some are really good, some are really bad. The bad ones are good because
in their own way.
It's their own art. It's their interpretation of art. But the thing is that I don't want it to be a full-on Andy Laird or Jason. There might be times that you want to express yourself with the kit or with a pad or whatever. That's fine. But I don't want to be a podcast that's saying, I play I've actually read this book about paradiddles and all the variants of it, and I think that I'd like to share with you at this moment in time. No, you don't. I don't want to watch this. I'm a drummer. I don't want to watch this.
Yeah, mate. I'm not qualified to be talking about that shit.
The thing is these people that are doing it, man, they're qualified in zero personality before they actually pick up the sticks. I don't know if anybody's noticed this. Like, I've got someone in the basement, so I will only be for about 5-10 minutes showing this.
But that's what happens.
You have an accent for Josef Fritzl accent because I seen him in the basement.
He was a drummer.
So we're getting the idea that's what we're going to gas about.
Yes.
The other thing is that the people that I want to touch, right? People that want to reach out and touch.
Oh yeah. Engage with.
I know you get. That's a cheap guy. That's cheap. So the bottom line is the people I thought would maybe be interested is I think that also, and I was talking to bizarrely. I don't want to go into this story, but I will. So was it there was an air show, as in jets and planes and all that, right? And I was at it on last Saturday, and it was in a place called Ayr in Scotland.
Oh yeah.
It's like the pun in the word there, the air show and Ayr.
The air show.
The air show, right? So anyway, they were up all night thinking about that, weren't they? John, what do you think about it? Oh, do you think we could just change I to a Y and we've got boom, right?
Air show.
Air show. So up all night, they're like, ties do all open.
I've got it.
Got it.
Fucking.
So the weird thing is I bumped into a guy that I used to drum with. And he used to drum with a band called the Glasgow Sky. And we're going back maybe about 10 odd years. And he's a really good drummer. He is a good drummer. And amongst many things, which we'll come to later on, we were talking about drum pads. That's he got me at drum pads when we first met eyes. He started talking about drum pads. I was like, I'm hooked. How are you? Come back into my life, right? So, and we're talking about the amount of people in, say, grade one, the amount of drummers in grade one pipe bands. But this is about the audience, or the people that I think that should listen to us. It's not just about them. They're a very small cog in a very big chain type thing of drummers or musicians that are involved in pipe band or kit music. The people that are in pipe bands, competitive pipe bands, are probably less than the people that are actually in pipe bands, if you know what I mean. So people like to compete, and I'm all for competing, because competing's good and it makes you better, and we've got a whole raft of things to talk about that. But I think that the flip side, I mean, I don't know, if you're in a band and you're in a part of the world where there isn't a lot of pipe bands, and I'm trying to think, Uruguay. I know there's a pipe band in Uruguay. That's why I've picked them, right? So I would imagine they don't get competing very much, or if they do get competing, they're not getting competing to the same sort of standard, and they don't get da-da-da-da. But all these people that are in these bands, they take their thing serious, and they take the band serious, and you know what I mean? They've got every right to be on the same platform as a grade one drummer from a grade one band that's, you know, doing great things. They're not any less than, and they don't have any less of a kind of opinion. It could be quite wrong and misdirected, but they're still there to be kind of, you know, get your tuppence worth in, and maybe, I don't know, give us the.
That's almost where I feel like I am now.
It's like I'm in the band.
Yeah, like I'm just entering this world, right? So like I've come in and we're in this parade band, right? So there's like parade bands and there's competition bands, right? There's a line down the middle, right?
Of course there is.
Yeah.
There's a split, but that's my point. My point is that your band being like a parade band, or a band that does like gigs, for instance, right, but doesn't do competitions at the moment, that'll probably turn a corner. That'll turn a corner. Ultimately, somebody will be like, "Do you know what? Maybe we should attend a contest."
There's
It's
little
maybe at the
seeds
level.
being planted now. Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing is that I don't think it's the baby in the bathwater type thing. I don't think you're going to have to say, "Oh, do you know what? We're this or nothing," type thing. I mean, even your
Yeah.
bands, good bands, have got to do. You know, I don't know, you'd call them in Australia gala days, where it's like
Yeah.
the local fete type thing. So they've still got to bust their hump, and they've got to kind of say, it doesn't matter how great you are as a pipe band, you've still got to engage with your community. You've still got to,
You got to
if
do
these
what the
people,
people want.
well, yeah, hey, exactly. And if these guys are putting 20 quid in to a tin to help pay for your bus to go to a competition or whatever, and guess what? You owe them a tune. You owe them a wee thing down the street and say, we're your band.
Make it quality as well.
So, well, exactly. But I mean, it's the same thing. And I started off in what you'd call, actually, I started off in a competitive band, but it wasn't competing at the time. And then I went from there to a parade band. And by the way, this band still exists, and they're still a parade band, right? They're local to me.
You gonna say it, or you gonna name them?
No, well, yeah, I'll name them because there's nothing bad about it, right? So it's not. I'm not judging them. I'm not saying anything negative. The thing is it's the local band's Straven Pipe Band. It's like just up the road. And by the way, I was there for about a year and a half, maybe a year. I was a really young guy. I was maybe only about 11 or 12 or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Just before, yeah, just as you're going into secondary school in Scotland type age, right? And the point is that it didn't do me any harm. It wasn't a bad experience. It was people that just loved going out and playing. And it came for me just at the right time, because I wasn't really that good that I was going to saddle my start to a competitive drum corps, and it was good enough that I got the kind of the feel and the enjoyment of being in a band and playing
Yeah.
in the band. So, do you know what? And that's what I was going to say. So that band still doesn't compete, and they've got their reasons.
Yeah.
But there's probably been a lot of people that's been kind of touched or what's it? There's that word again. But there's been no, you know what I mean. There's been a lot of people that's been to the band and they've had like a good experience, and then they've went, you know what, I'm going to another band that's competing. But it's
Yeah.
been enough for them to get, it's like been
Yeah.
a wee building block. And then so to be
It's
honest,
like the parade bands, like the feeders for when people decide they want to really up the
they,
ante a bit.
yeah, they can be. I think there's right. I'm going to put my kind of mother head on and say, listen, the thing that's a nonsense speaking it. That's managerial talk, Jason. And you come, okay, I'm going to put on my manager head on now. You're like, what? Your
I've had that a
manager
few
head?
times, eh?
Oh, mate. Listen, Jason, you can't come in here drunk, all right? You're a good lad. We all like you. But it's 10 o'clock in the morning. You're still reeking from the last night. Right,
After work.
anyway.
After work.
You'd be to go, but I'm still competent. I'm actually still more competent than Betty, right? She doesn't drink. Yeah, I mean, she's not getting her P45. You know what I mean? It's a problem. Back in the 70s, everybody done it. Everybody went for a pub lunch, came back, wrecked.
Exactly. Look,
film.
we're doing all right. Let's set the foundations.
The country was booming at the time. They complained. Couple of clutches.
We were happy in those days.
Oh, no
Hey,
mental
I wasn't
health.
there. I wasn't there.
Listen, there was no mental health issues back then, allegedly. So must have worked. But yeah. So basically, you're right about the band, the parade band. I mean, we call them here a gala band.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's nothing wrong with it, and that's my point. I think there's people that are in gala bands that would probably maybe get. This is an ill-informed show, right? This is not whatever you learn or hear in this talk, right? This podcast. I would strongly suggest take it with a massive pinch of salt and swallowed down by 3 litres of salt water. Then eat another 2 teaspoons of salt, and then you'd maybe get somewhere near the truth. But no, I don't think there's anything. I don't think the point of the show is to tell people this is right and this is wrong.
Nah.
It's only different stratas and different ideas and different platforms. You're a kit. I'll tell you what's really weird, right? You're a kit drummer, right? So every pipe band drummer, I know this for a fact. Even if they'll deny it, they'll probably deny it somewhere. But nah, I'm not that bothered. But I know for a fact that every pipe band drummer, as soon as they can play paradiddles, right, or something like that, even paradiddles, I'd say, right. As soon as they triplets or paradiddles,
Oh, yeah.
first thing they do when they see that kit drum, first thing they do is they think, I could just give that a good. I could probably. Phil Collins, not good. And they start to think, oh,
Chuck a buzz roll in there.
Maybe it's just me. Maybe I just think like that. But I was like, not that hard, is it? And then I actually realised when I get a wee bit cleverer that things that I thought that were 4/4 that Phil Collins was playing was things like 12, like 7, totally asymmetric timing. And I'm like, that's why I can't keep playing along with that.
Yeah.
You're like, so it's not working for this. It's not working.
Well, it's because you got to add the feet in. Like you have to have the feet. That's what I feel I lack. If I'm just going down I'm practicing snare, doing pipe band stuff, got stuff due, teaching the kids and stuff. And it's like, all right, now I'm going to go back and relax, sit on the drum kit. All of a sudden my feet have just turned into like dead weight. So like you gotta, that's the thing. As soon as I get back on a kit, I don't even think about my hands anymore. And that's kind of why the pipe banding is good, because it gets your hands real good. So then when I get onto a kit, I'm just thinking about feet. That's it.
Well,
it takes a load off. It's all right.
Well, this is the thing. So you're obviously doing it kind of back to front from the point of view that kit drummer want to be a pipe band drummer. Yeah. And you get pipe band drummers desperately trying to be kit drummers, and they can't really. To be fair, there's a lot of them fall short.
Yeah.
I find it extremely difficult to do. Right. I'm by no manner of means stretch I'm a kit drummer, but I kind of get it. I want to get it. I'm too old, and I've got
you can speak the same language.
Yeah, but I'll get bigger. To be honest, I would need to actually say, if you want to do it, you need to really put the time in.
Yeah.
And I don't have the time to do it. I really don't. And I find it hard enough to learn one MSR now. So I'm like starting to go like Alzheimer's. I'm like, what was that fourth part? Oh, the fourth. I can't remember it. Oh, give me a clue. Just give me a clue. Give me the first couple. Let's go on it. So it's getting
It
like
helps to know that you have that experience as well.
listen, everybody does, but I think it's. I think if I think that I think that if you want to do like so, for instance, you're getting the benefit of your hands, but you're saying obviously you lose power, no power of the feet, but you're obviously losing the
Yeah.
feet in the kit. But the flip side is I think that you're fortunate in the way round in which you've done this. Bizarrely, I think I don't know, but I've not done it the other way round. But what I'm saying is I think that you'll probably find that you'll catch on to pipe band drumming probably quicker than the other way round because of the coordinational effort. Where if you're
Yeah.
trying to use your feet versus syncopated defeat
I
against
thought about
syncopated
this the other day.
hands. So
You're exactly right. Like I'm thinking about what the bass drummer in the band, in the pipe band, should be doing because I'm
oh,
doing it already with my feet.
this is good, right? This is good. This is dangerous talk, right? Because now we had a list to discuss here, by the way, but we're going off we're going off the resolution here. It's gone, isn't it? It's gone like a party balloon that's
Throw
been
them away.
deflated. It's gone. But so you're saying about the bass drum and the pipe band, right? So dare I mention bass and tenor section in the pipe band? Did I mention that? Did I start with that, or because that's controversial, tenor drumming.
It's coming from snare drummers here.
Well, listen, this is what I was going to say, right?
There's no bass drummer podcast out there.
But hey, listen, if they want me to do a bit of bass drumming talk, I'll do bass drumming talk. But drumming, why do they call it drum and bass? By the way, just be drumming.
That's a thing already, isn't it?
Drumming, but you know that I like a bit of drum and bass. You go, but it's just drum. It's not drum and bass, just drum. A bass drum or drum.
Maybe they mean maybe it's.
I know. Listen, what I was going to say is that the bass, the tenor section, I just don't get, right. This is weird, right? And I know this is, if this goes out and this goes live, this bit, right? This is like clickbait. What I'm going to say now is clickbait, right? And I know that, and I will stand by this, right? What I'm going to say next, right? Which musical ensemble, right? Which musical ensemble, right, would employ people, right, to give them varying sounds when they can achieve it from one person, right? So, like for instance, in a pipe band, right, I've seen like wild scenarios where the tenor drum corps, right, the tenors nearly outnumber, or sometimes do, the snare section, right? And I've got to ask myself the question: well, maybe missing out here. Like, so, like, you get the Swiss, the basso type idea, right?
Yeah.
They've got like, you can have like 3 or 4 like kind of rototom ideas.
Yeah.
And one guy carry it, right? But why is the pipe band's not embracing this? So this might sound a bit what's what I'm looking for?
Discriminatory.
Staid, a bit staid or whatever, but Stephanie, Monica, Shirley, right? We just get rid of the 3 U's and we just have Stephanie. And
Right.
she's got 3 U's instead of 3's, right?
Yeah.
Now, there's 2 roads you can go down there. You can say, well, that's a bit, that's let 2 of them down or whatever. I don't know. I just what I'm wanting.
I've
I'm
never.
thinking,
I don't think I've ever heard a tenor drum while I've been playing, eh?
well, listen, this is the other thing, right? I don't understand, right, why they actually get points for what they call flourishing, right? So, like, the twirly bits, right? And I'm thinking to myself, well, it doesn't really matter because you can't hear that in the fucking album. Do you know what I mean? So, like, ladies and gentlemen, Andy Laird and District Pipe Band live, right? And it's the album you're listening in the car, right? You hear the 3 patrols and that, but nobody actually sees the twirly bit. It's only a visual thing.
But
You know what I mean?
that's where I think that's where the credit to the tenors goes to, is like
Right?
when
Are you a fan? You're a fan of the
I appreciate what they're doing out there. You know what I mean? I think
Hey, each to their own.
look, we're the everyman snare drummer, right? But the
Mhm.
everyman who just goes and looks at
Wait
a
a minute.
pipe band
Hey,
and
wait,
goes,
Every
"Whoa."
man and every woman snare drummer.
Oh yeah,
Hey,
sorry. Oh,
hey, come on.
sorry. um, so you get to the every man or every woman snare drummer. Sorry, not snare drummer. Just person who enjoys pipe bands when they come down the street. They go
Yeah.
out there and they see the tenors and they go, "Oh wow, look at that."
What's
You
going
know
on
what I mean?
here?
That's what it's all about. I think that's what brings people in.
Maybe. Listen, I don't know. I'm just asking questions that I think you need it can be thought about. So you're like that, right? Listen, this is my alternative, right? This is only an alternative. I'm thinking if we upped the tenor capability,
Yeah.
right? Like having like a basil band, would that well, it would change the dynamic completely of the back end of the band. But what I mean is would it give you more capability to produce like a kind of a funkier, bigger sound?
I like what you're saying here, Andrew. I like what you're
Do you know what
saying
I'm
here.
saying?
As a drum kit drummer, why would you not
Surely,
use every
why
part
do
of
you
the
know?
drum
Yeah,
for
let's
what
get
it
on,
is?
baby. Let's-
So almost what I think
and
in
here's
summary,
here's
what
the
we're
weird
saying
thing.
here is
And here's the weird thing, right? This is for all the traditionalists out there, right? Because I'm going to have to smash them with this, right? If we go back, right, so like pipe band drumming, the snare part is mega, 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 mega modern, right? The actual drum technology
you mean what
is
we have now or back in the
well, what
1700s?
what the actual drum capability is, right? That pipe band drummers are using, right? It's an outrageous uh, setup, like technical setup from the point of view. You're talking about Kevlar skins. You're
Mm,
talking about the. If you actually think about it, right, from a musical perspective, right, that where technically that pitch range would sit on a staff, right, it would be how many ledger lines would that be to actually properly replicate where that degree of pitch is going to sit, right? If you can follow it, so we're like crank up the drums, crank up the drums, crank up the drums, get it super tense,
yeah,
super tense,
high,
super
tight.
tense, right? So that technology is there supporting that drive, right?
Yes.
So if you only go back something like I don't know, 50 years, 50 years ago, you're talking about like Premier Olympic drum. If you
Oh,
go back to like Alex Nuthart's kind of guys and the kind of drums they were using, right? Which at the time were cutting edge, right? And he was chasing cutting edge drums.
mm,
But the point is that obviously we're revolutionising that drum all the time. But why are we not revolutionising the tenor and bass section then? Why are we only revolutionising the side section? Why is that the one that's getting the kind of right? We need to drive this kind of sound. We're developing this sound right now. Before everybody starts putting me on like kind of the watch list and all that, we're going to get this guy. But what I was going to say is so all I'm saying is if we could, would it be interesting for people to try and create a full on more like bigger sound that you could get from tenor drummers that were maybe using sticks, and then
maybe that
maybe
tenor
follow
drummer
it.
is out there somewhere.
You know, hey,
That,
listen,
but
it's
tradition will be holding it down. Like you're saying, people will be putting out for your arrest warrant.
well, I might have to listen. Hey, everybody needs like a guy a guy that gets thrown under the bus. No, I'm just saying it's not the fact that I'm saying that it needs to go. I'm just saying I'm asking the question that could you get like a Basler type sound? I mean, hey, what am I talking about? Let's look at it this way. We've got bands from France,
Oh,
right?
those guys.
Right, the Bagad guys, those guys, right? Their drum set, right? Obviously, when they're playing their Bagad stuff, right? They're drumming, and the whole drum section, it's like a kind of mini, it's like a percussional
It is.
voyage,
Yes. It's
right?
oh
So, but yeah, I know they trimmed. They also are component parts, as in they have their own pipe band thing, right?
Yeah.
And they got other members for other bagad bands, and they all join together and they say, right, let's go to the Worlds and let's kick some Scottish ass and let's win. And they do not bad, and they're good, and they are very good. But my point is that I don't know. I'd like to see somebody try and maybe somebody will like get in touch with us and go, quite clearly that man has no concept or understanding of pipe band drumming.
Listeners, right in.
Fair
Let
enough.
us know.
So what? And so that's what I was going to say in that's the tenor drum thing.
Yeah.
With,
it's a whole world I know really nothing about, although I stand next to them, daily.
Well, before we go on to this, right? I think we should try and bring the balloon back into the party, right? That's exploded at the room, right? Because the first thing I'd like to say to you is that obviously you being the man, the myth, the legend, we met when we were in Basel, right? Basel Tattoo. Here comes my point. Basel Tattoo. And then, as you know, I'm away to Dusseldorf next week to do the Dusseldorf tattoo. So what I thought would be quite interesting is I'm going to take the mic with me. I won't take the laptop. I'll take the mic with me.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I'd maybe capture some people and maybe try and get some convo out of them and ask them, one, why they're doing it, because they're not paid. They're doing it as a voluntary gig. Right? So, all right.
That's how I do it.
Well, listen, this is the thing, Jason, isn't it? It's like the Dusseldorf tattoo, it's like 4 days, so it's quite short, which is good, which means it's a lot less standing around time.
Lovely.
Exactly. But is it lovely? I don't know. I'm going to find out. So, like, it's going to be hard to beat Basel. I mean,
Basel is the best, and that's the only one I've ever been to.
It's the gig to do, right? I'm going to say that, right? I'm saying that now officially. I've done hundreds of gigs, right, as a pipe band, right?
Yeah.
And I would definitely say that the Basel Tattoo is the gig.
Yeah.
If you get that gig, yeah, there's not much really that's in its way. I mean, you can get really good gigs, right, which are better, like an embassy gig. That's a good gig.
Oh,
that's a really good gig. An embassy gig's good. You can't be an embassy gig.
Really?
So the good thing, the good thing about an embassy gig is this, right? This is the great thing about an embassy gig.
Tell us.
So they've got to bring the band out the week before the band's playing, right? So what normally happens at an embassy gig is what they do is they'll have like a kind of beat and retreat or a week and a show on the Saturday night, right? But you'll arrive probably the Saturday before the Saturday. And what the embassy will do is they'll ferry you out in like a kind of wee good luck, kind of Lucky Charms, kind of outreach, go and visit a kind of school with sick kids and all that, play them a couple of tunes, like that sort of thing. We bring you goodwill type thing, and you'll do a couple of you do like a couple, and you're only like really most days. So from that Saturday, Sunday will probably be off because you'll be jet lagged or hungover, and then the Monday through to the Friday, it will be like kind of wee incidental kind of me 15-minuters. You probably do about 3 of them a day, if that. And so there's a lot of kind of downtime, if you know what I mean. It's a lot of kind of bonding, relaxing,
green room
by the pool. Yeah, and then waiting until the main event, which is the Saturday night coming, which is like kind of the big one where they've got like VIP dignitaries and all, and they all tip up, and it's like kind of canopies and it's like the kind of millionaire guy and sit on to big Ferrero Rochers and a big pyramid and all that kind of stuff. That's the Saturday night, right? Yeah, but so the point is that's an awesome gig. But my point, the thing I'm saying about the Basel is, I mean, if you do Basel, it's up there. It really is. I mean, I'm even comparing that to. I mean, there's like gigs in America that you do. Obviously, people in America will be like, well, what are you saying? Switzerland's better than us. Well, we're on about the gig. So, like, sometimes, depending what gig you do in America, they do one that's like kind of coast to coast thing, and that's like kind of quite toasty. You're kind of busy, and if you're not actually on the show, you're kind of traveling on a bus, and you're spending 10 hours on a bus, and then you get off, then you get down. So that can be quite hard going. That's like 3 months. That's quite long. Yeah, that's
Much
like
downtime?
ow! No, there's not. Well, there's a lot of kind of crazy time, but there's
Hey.
not. There's not a
Yeah.
lot of time. You know, they're like
Yeah. They
right.
just move you on.
Yeah, they're just squeezing that
Getting
last
that
bit of
money worth.
that last bit of 7-stroke roll at you. So, but
Listen,
the
my point of view on the Basel tattoo was that this was the first tattoo I would ever do. Not only was
yeah,
it the first tattoo I'd ever do, it's the first time I'd ever go overseas. I'd be sent overseas to play music for people and just march on them and then get free accommodation in Switzerland, which I would have never gone to ever in my life, ever. I would have never thought about it.
do you know what's a really weird story about Switzerland? No, this is nothing bad about Swiss or anything like that. We had a great time there, right? We had great times there, right?
Oh, yeah.
But what I was going to say is the following year that you and Mark weren't there, right? It was even better.
Oh, shut up.
No, listen. No. Wait. It wasn't that, right? It was this, right? You know that phrase, the circus has left the town, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Really.
this is the weird thing, right? So my wife and kids came over, right? So at this time I brought not only the wife, I also brought the children over as well. The people must be like, who is this guy, man? He's bringing his whole tribe.
Freeloader.
I'm like, just make sure you get 2 of them, by the way. Make 2 of them. Get 2 of the hot dogs. But it was fantastic, right? It was fantastic. It was fantastic that the kids got to go,
Yes.
and it's a really good environment, like for them to be in and all that kind of stuff, right? And anyway, at the end of the tattoo, the family were going to spend some holiday time in Germany, which is a train trip away for in the into
15 minutes.
They can't. Yeah, it's just it's around the corner, mate. So it's like it's got a couple of hours up the road north type thing, and but we stayed behind. The last night of the show was obviously Saturday night, and we didn't leave until Monday. Wow, what a different town it was. It felt,
Oh,
yeah, the magic had left, mate. The magic had left.
really?
Honestly, man. Honestly, listen, this is the strange thing, right? This is what I was going to say to you, right? And you might get this. So the weird thing is I've actually done the same thing in New Zealand, right? So I went to New Zealand with the circus, and I also went to New Zealand without the circus.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And it was weird. It was like almost visiting a different place. And
Yeah.
that happened to me again in Basel, where it was like it's not like obviously it wasn't like, oh, this is rubbish. You know, it's just like there was a completely different vibe. The show had finished. What's this?
Where is it? Where is it? There? Basel.
Yeah, it's kinda as I'm looking at it, it's on the left-hand side, and it north left on it.
Just some backwater, bloody European, nothing
Yeah,
really.
well,
Just
this is the thing, but I think what makes these things, like, you know, bad. So, like for instance, I'm going to Dusseldorf for 4 days. The Dusseldorf I'm going to see for 4 days is going to be a different Dusseldorf. Say if I just went near, I don't know, to buy a car or something like that, it'd be a different vibe, different town because the circus is gone. Do you know what I mean? And we all know what it's like.
the circus bit is the best bit. Like you know, I was
100%.
saying, going there, going and playing music, all that stuff. That was you know, that was cool. But then when I got there, and then I found out there's hundreds of other people from all different countries in the world, mainly Scotland, and they're all here doing the same thing that I've been doing back in Australia. And we all live the same life, and we all get to play together, and then get on the piss together afterwards.
Hence the reason for this podcast. This. I think this is the reason of this podcast is to make sure that people understand that there's. Well, this is kind of weird as well, right? So it's life beyond the Saturday competition.
Hey, listen, that whole thing about Basel. I mean, I could talk about Basel for. I'm going to be talking about it for the next 50 years for sure. But
well, is this advertisement?
hey,
Somebody wants.
you can cover up the label on that.
Well, I've done the back, the label at the back, so not the label at the front.
We all know what you're drinking.
Yeah, I know. Do you know what's it?
You shouldn't be drinking on live podcasts, mate.
No, listen. All I was going to say is it's very refreshing. It's a very refreshing drink.
Whichever drink it is. Not that it's any specific drink. Oi!
Listen, my old man brought the other ones round, right? And I had the ones in the fridge. And I thought, I don't want to be walking to the fridge to get another one. I thought, I'll mix and match. It's allowed. It's late at night in Scotland. Well, it's actually 1:15 in the morning, so
hey.
Do what I want.
Wait, you're mixing and matching. You're drinking 2 beers at the same time?
No, not yet. That's my reserve, because I knew that I didn't want to actually get up off this stool and go to the fridge. And I thought, right, so just have that there as my wee reserve.
Yeah.
Ready to go. Anyway, what was I going to say? So you're going to see you talk about Basil all day. I get that.
Yeah.
I get that. But if we can focus on this.
Go on.
We've got a Dusseldorf tattoo, which I'm going to, and I'll try and give you a good week in a...
When's that?
That's Wednesday. Coming.
This Wednesday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I just broke into German. Yeah. I listened to them. Right? So, I'll go there Wednesday and come back on my birthday. Come back on the 24th, late at night. So I'll try and give us a wee kind of flavour of that. So if we can, I don't know how I'm going to do it. I don't know really the technology behind us. I'll probably just take the microphone, stick it on the phone.
Uncharted ground.
Hey, we need to get used to it, because here's the other one, and this is where you're going to have to come into this. You're going to have to start, Jason. You're going to have to start working for the team, mate. You're going to have to start working for the team. I know.
I knew this was coming. He's got the manager hat on.
My management. Jason, it's been noticed that you've been kind of letting people down.
Oh.
Right? Listen to this, right? So the following month, the month of October, is the World Solo Drumming Championships in Glasgow. So I would like to actually get there and maybe speak to people if I can. Now, and when we're talking about speaking to people, we've got a couple of people that I think we should speak to. Right, listen to this. How's this sound? Listen, these are the various guests that I've actually spoke to. Right, one is a guy called Neil Sloan, and as you know, a guy that we know very well. Right, he's back. He's alive, but he's a bit back to Oman. He's a former Balkan Bathgate drummer. He's a very good drummer. I've known him for a long time, and he's teaching in the Royal Omani Army. And he's agreed to do like a kind of wee interview for us and tell us about how he teaches in Oman.
Yes.
And how long he's been there for and all that kind of stuff. And this guy's been with me I've known him for a long time, right? This guy has got stories out the yin yang, right? So,
as long as I can understand him.
The word is a character, Jason, a character, right? So we've got him, and we've got him. He's pretty much set on the idea. Perfect. We've got a guy called Michael Hay, who I'm going to speak to during the Dusseldorf tattoo. He is now he's kind of responsible for knitting together the pipers and drummers that do the voluntary thing for the Edinburgh tattoo, the Dusseldorf tattoo.
Oh yeah.
So he's involved in that, and he's quite a big cheese when it comes to that. So we're going to get a word with him. Hopefully he's a wee bit more lively than he normally is. He's got a very subtle sense of humour. That's how I'm going to describe him. We've also got I know I'm not a name drop, but the King's Piper, I kind of know him, so I'm going to hopefully get him on to talk to us. And the former Queen's Piper owes me big time, so I hope he hears this, and I expect him to come on and give us a wee kind of chit chat. So we've got quite a few people, and this is the best story. There's a guy that I was in a band with, right? And as you know, I was competing with one of the army pipe bands, and he was a piper, and he got posted to the army piping school. which is in Edinburgh. We can do a wee kind of thing about that as well on the podcast. That might be interesting to people.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, so he get posted there, and when he was posted there, it means that he's not tied to like kind of army duties, regimental duties. He's only there to teach piping, right?
Yes.
So it's a good time for people when they get that job to go and join a civilian pipe band and compete. So the first pipe band he decided to compete with was a band called Bog Hall in Bathgate.
Ooh.
And they won the World Pipe Band Championships on his first year out with them. And I was like, I phoned him up. I was like, so, I mean, why would you bother going back now? You've won the world statue. You've
reached
people have been
the
chasing
top.
People have been chasing that for like 50 years. You've just walked to join the band and won it.
First go.
Yeah, I was like, to me, may as well start taking up painting or something like that now. You know what I mean?
Next.
painting animals or digging out canoes for blind fishermen or something like that. You need to start something else. You know what I mean? It's mental, innit? Mental.
So that's pretty good. You've got some nice
It's happening.
Material to work with over there.
It's happening, man. I told you it's happening. I'm loving the soundproofing behind you, by the way. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's really like purpose built. Hey, it was supposed to be here to dampen the sound of just, constant drumming, but it really does nothing apart from actually, just making my voice sound better in here. So,
you know what I was actually going to say to you? I actually toyed with that stuff. I actually have some in the back of the Drumcast.
Yeah.
And I was going to put it on. And then I thought, nah. I didn't.
I think you got enough there with the whiskey bottles in the background. That'll, sound will bounce off that, absorb,
Well, I know it's not exactly good acoustics. It's not good acoustics, but I kind of listen. It's not for the acoustics; it's for the patter. It's just for the patter.
It's for the patter.
That's a patter diddle right there.
That's patter fuel. Patter fuel. Yeah, patter diddle.
Patter diddle. So, well, I was going to say something else. I was going to talk to you about something else, but it doesn't really matter that much.
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
But you're going to have to listen. You're going to have to explain the Antipodean thing is. So, like, I know one thing. Like, New Zealand's mega. Right?
They're big.
There's another guy we need to interview, by the way, is Mark.
Oh yeah, he is the master.
He is. He's a man that's loved many lives. In fact, here's another thing I was going to tell you about. And I'm not going to mention anything at this moment in time, right? So I might get the sack. So I've joined a pipe band again.
Oh!
Went back to the cruel mistress that is pipe band. I know.
Don't do it, Andy.
I know. Do you know what? Honestly, listen, this is true, right? Every day in my house, probably like wife and kids are probably like, no, we can't go through this again. But it's bad, isn't it? It's like, well, why do you do it to yourself, man? I don't know. So I've got a couple of reasons, right? I'm not going to mention the band. And the reason I'm not going to mention the band is not because I've got anything negative to say about MD in the band at all. Nothing like that. It's not any. I just don't think it would be fair me to say what band at the moment. It'll be obvious. People know who I am and my voice and all that.
You're building up the mystery, man. Come on.
No,
don't do it. Don't do it.
Listen, do you know what it is? I think we should do it like an advent calendar for Christmas, right? So I think what we'll do is it'll be like the 12 months before the Worlds, or how many months is it? Like 8, 9 months or whatever it is, right? Do the maths. This is what, September, -2, 10. The 10 months, right? Or something like that. In fact, it's not 10, it's 11 months. The 11 months to Christmas or the 11 months to the Worlds. And I think every month I'll give you a wee kind of scanty kind of clue as to which band it is. And then the final unwrapping will be me in uniform at the Worlds with this band.
With the trophy on your shoulder.
Well, that would So what I'm thinking is, right? What I'm thinking is it's genuinely like so I don't really think it's necessary. All I'm going to say is a guy that's actually the drumming instructor there, or the lead drummer. Awesome. He's a big name. He's a big fish. I think he's a big fish. I don't think anybody would say he's no big fish. He is a
That
big
can only be
fish.
good.
Oh, listen, he's good. I've only been up a couple of times, but I was going to say one thing is, from my years of experience, not only of drumming, right, not only of drumming, but of dealing with people in like a kind of management and like a kind of tutorial. It doesn't need to be about drumming, but if you're trying to teach people things,
Yes.
you get two types. You get different types of people that can engage with people differently, right? But this guy engages like in a really positive way, but
Good.
not a fake
Yes.
positive. Like,
Oh,
oh,
that's
well
good.
done, Simon, well done, well done. No, that's bullshit, right? That's bullshit. So, few words, but when they come, they're good and they're kind of really kind of
Yes.
constructive. So,
Good.
I'm really happy. It's actually
Good.
the happiest I've felt drumming in a long time.
Makes all
So,
the difference, eh?
honestly, it's like a light bulb in my head going off.
Yeah.
So, I'm like really happy. I'm really happy with the stuff. It's not easy. It's kind of tricky.
Good.
And
You need a challenge.
this, I think it's challenging. It's bloody challenging. I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm really happy. I'm really happy with the way they do business. Well, for what I've
Good.
seen. So I
That's all
think it's.
pipe banding is that really, isn't it? It's about the team. It's about, the people you're working with. It's
Oh, it's funny you saying that
oh,
about the team and about the people you work with, because the same magazine that we just spoke about, Piper Drummer, came out with another interesting article. Right? Wait, this is top class because we're talking about management, right? And we're talking about the people, right? This is true. They came up with a story basically about how to ditch people in your band and how you should go about it, right? And how you should
wow.
what I mean? And like honestly, they gave like a kind of a
I didn't know
bluffer's
that was an
guide.
option.
Oh no, they gave a bluffer's guide on how to do it, right? And I thought this is really good, but it was really corporate, right? It was
Oh
really
yeah.
corporate. It was like they were even mentioned about social media and all that when they done it, and I
Hold
was
on,
like,
give
oh,
me a
okay.
second here. Hold on. Yeah. Have you found it?
No, I've not found it. I can't touch it.
I reckon you made it up, eh? You made it up.
Do you know what? I thought it sounded good pattern. I thought, "Oh, I'm going to just bullshit that." But they actually did write this article, and I got it today, but I don't know how to find it because it came up in my Google, and then I never actually people. I don't know.
You got to save this shit, man.
I know, but I'm really shit at saving stuff. I don't actually know what I'm. The problem is that I'm actually out of date out of beat with the technology. What was
Every
it
time
called?
you get on your phone, it's like you're learning how to use it again, eh?
Mate, managing news. That's it. Here it is. I've
Here we
found.
go.
You're going to love this.
Story time.
So it's pipes drums, right? So pipesdrums.com, and the article begins
They do
how
good
pipe
articles.
right how pipe bands should manage a significant change, right? So let's just walk down the scenario here, Jace. Right? I'm the lead tip. You're one of my drummers, and I'm like that to the pipe major. We need to get rid of this guy, right? He's got to go,
No,
right?
please.
The pipe major's like, why? Why, Liberty? What's wrong with him? You're like, well, he's a bit of a klepto. He's been nicking kit when we've been away, uh, and his hands are like his hands are like two ingots of steel, right? So this article that they've wrote, right, says competing pipe bands, just like any other. Listen to this, just like any other public-facing group, corporate
Public
baby,
facing.
corporate. Yeah, I like that.
Engaging. Very engaging.
Yeah, look at this. Are delicate things chock a block with sensitive egos and strong personalities that are ironically part of generally shy and introverted personnel who populate them. Anyway, so it goes on to say significance change, crucial for things to go smoothly, right? It's usually triggered at a time when someone departs. This is at the time when anyone departs. See how they've wrote that? It's like anyone departs. No, you're getting rid of somebody that's rats, right? You're getting a rat guy out the band, right? And it's like, right, so they're like, both sides are, right, so it's time anyone departs and both sides are equally pleased. With that in mind, it's vital to get communications right. Right,
Yeah.
Jason, give me a minute, mate. You know how we're all going to that thing on Saturday? That piss up. Yeah, you're not coming, mate. How's that?
What?
I want you to bring your kilt in. What? Bring your kilt in Saturday morning. What am I bringing my kilt in for? Because you'll not be needed it. You don't get to wear this kilt anymore, mate. You're now kiltless. You know what I'm saying, didn't you?
That's your
Don't need
comms? That's
that's
after all
what
these years? That's what you give me?
that's what that's what that's one version of events. We could do it another way. Hey, Jace, you know, I think somebody you should spread your wings. I think you should.
Really?
I think you'd be better than another people. Right. So listen, they went on a
I like
pig
that
band.
one, actually.
They went on a pig band is essentially a small business with between 20 and 50 volunteer workers. They don't have to be there. Listen to this. They don't have to be there. And the days of talented player and worker shortages, both pipe bands and businesses should do all they can to retain their people and reputations. I mean, I think this article's it's like maybe a bit lofty in a
I
way.
feel like it was written by AI.
Yeah. No problem with that. Pipers and drummers who volunteer their skills, blah, 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 precious assets, blah, 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 right? Or shouting pipe major or leading drummer boss. So they're learning about the kind of, obviously, that workspace environment. And then they're like, right now, so here's the steps. The step to
Steps.
create a plan of action. This might sound like overkill, but it's
Action
really
plan.
cool.
Love them.
Yeah. Next, they're going to get out a whiteboard and say, with three primary colours that they're going to use. Okay, everybody. I want you just to think about this for a minute before I start writing the book. Oh, really? Right, so it's like this. Listen to this. Number one, prepare the materials. You have decided that a change must be made. So now is the time to draft these three statements to those coming in or departing, to the balance of the band, and to the general public. What do you make of that? So they're going to get three statements ready: one for the band, one for the folk coming in, and for the general public. Yeah. Be ready to tweak those statements depending on how things go. In other words, if you write one that's kind of chatty, make sure that you can backtrack quick enough.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Make sure you can take it all back.
If you're standing there on YouTube and you've said something that can get your band cancelled, make sure you can backtrack. Right, so I love that one. This is number three.
That's what the law is, right?
Yeah. Number three, determine a date and time to inform the person or persons directly affected by the decision.
Oh.
Jace, bring your kilt to me at 2:00 this afternoon. Why am I doing that, Andy? I'll tell you at 2:00, Jason. I'll tell you at 2:00.
I think it's better just to have the kilt on already. Say after a gig, hey, mate, I hope you brought a spare pair of pants with you. You're going home in your undies.
Oh, exactly. So, you know what I mean? This is gold dust. So they're like that. But I take just give me your kilt. Listen to this. Meet with those people in person. This is critical. It's fundamental in business that a manager meets face to face with an employee or employees who are receiving bad news. Anything else is unprofessional. Right, listen, you've got Gus the gorilla in the drum corps, right? And you're like that. Now, he loves this band, right? His mum thinks he's a special guy because he's in this band. And you're now going to sack him. Right? The guy is built like the proverbial brick shithouse, right? And you're like, Gus, bring me a kilt at 2:00, mate.
Are you going to use the kilt?
What do you want my kilt for? Just to fit him. What my kilt for? Right, just bring it in, pal. Bring it in. He brings it in and he's standing there. And as you're getting hypothermia from the shade that he's delivering by the size and measure of the guy, and you're like that to him, Gus, I thought I'd be the one to tell you. You're rotten, right? You've always been rotten, and we don't want you anymore. That's going to go really well, isn't it?
Let him know what you really think at that point.
He's got to just remove your arms from their sockets, beat you to death, beat you to death with your own arm. No, that's what I think. It's like, oh my God. But anyway, so the long and short of this whole thing is it's very, very corporate, and it's very kind of very laborious. And it's, if you do this and if you communication steps, an hour is an eternity. Steps 4 and 6 should be completed in 30 minutes and all that stuff. Who's writing this? And by the way, no worse? You know what's worse than that? It's not who's writing it, right? Genuinely, it's not the problem with who's writing it. It's who's the editor. So who's the guy that's going, that's all right, Stephanie or Jimmy or whatever. Jimmy, that was a great job you done with that article. I'd be like, Jimmy, are you smoking the crack? What the hell's this? Talking about 30 minutes and it's an eternity, an hour. No, what kind of drugs are you taking?
Have you done this yourself?
What's going on here?
Nobody's doing this, man.
Listen, it's a down and dirty business. I think you're dealing with people that I understand what they're trying to say. They're trying to be a bit clinical.
Yeah.
And
break it down, standardize it.
Be professional. But I think that it's all good about having. This is the whole problem with management, leadership, and the 5 steps or the 6 steps or the Super 6 or all these things, whatever. Right? Ultimately, they're only just sound bites because the leadership and management is person dependent. So you either have a good manager or you've got a shit manager. So the person that's going to deliver that news is either going to be good or shit.
Yes.
So they can have all the steps and they can have all the wee booklets. I've just done an HR degree at the University of Inverkeithing. So what, mate? Do you know what I mean? You still can't tell the guy he's fired. You're rubbish.
It's all going to go to shit as soon as someone starts crying.
Oh, no, do you know what? There's a bit of me that actually says that that's a win.
Yeah.
That's a win.
Yeah.
When you cry.
You're kind of accepting it.
You're like that to yourself. You should maybe look at it and go, that's what you've come out with. That's out of your plans box. Listen to this, guys. This is my plans box, and if it doesn't work, I'll cry. That'll get you. That'll work for you.
Wait, if you're the guy that's sacking them, and then you start crying, that's pretty powerful stuff.
Oh no! Do you know what you should cry? Like, do you know what you should outcry? The guy or the girl that's tried to guilt you. You should cry, then cuddle them and say,
"It affects me more.
I'm not this guy. I'm not this guy.
It wasn't my decision."
No. See, you know what the danger of saying that is? If you said that, right? If you said that, the first thing they'll do is they'll go like that. They'll start to dry their eyes and go, "Well, whose decision was it?" And then you're in the world of soup because you've given them the reprieve. It's a bit like saying, "You're terminal. No, you're no. We've made a mistake. The scanner was wrong." And then they go, "Really?" And then you go, "Oh no, wait a minute." He's still terminal. So the thing is, right? This is the thing. So if you've done that and you say, "Oh, listen, it's Stephanie or Julie or Jimmy or Bob or whatever," right? And you're cuddling them, you go, "Oh, so
I
that's
don't even know
what
your name."
And then you say it wasn't me, it's somebody else. The first thing they're going to do is they're going to stiffen up and go, "Well, who was it?" And then I can get to them. So it's no you. You're the lead drummer. It's no you that wants. That's dangerous, mate. Yeah, I think you're better actually just out crying them, maybe
100%.
cuddling them, and then going, it's this whole thing that's eating me alive. I should get out of this business. I feel dirty.
I don't want to see you down the pub anymore. We just clean break.
Do you know? And see my friends, stay away from them. Stay away from my friends. Who are your friends?
Don't talk to them anymore either.
Well, so I don't know. I just think that Piper kind of article was a bit. It was a bit. I don't know. They must have been Must have been toiling for space to talk about stuff.
Hey, look,
like,
I mean, you got to put something out there. It's not
exactly.
Prince Apes' shit going around.
So this is like this is your podcast idea, right? Talking absolute rubbish about pipe bands and drumming, right? But here's a question, right? I noticed there's another podcast that talks about pipe bands, and they're sponsored.
No way.
They get money. They get cash.
Nobody. Now, I haven't been in pipe bands long, but I know that nobody ever makes money from pipe bands.
Wait, but listen, my friend. Here's a thing for it. I want you to think about this. I think that's true. They don't make money for pipe bands, but as in like real money. You know, it's not like tennis or something like Formula One. Oh God, I hate that sport. Anyway, but listen, I really hate it. Don't get me started on Formula One. This is probably going to be the biggest letters that you get. Is about the Formula One. It's kind of like, who is that guy? Why is he living?
You don't like engineering?
Was he a simpleton? He doesn't get it. Is it combustible? Is it too complex for his brain?
You just can't understand it.
No, it's just I just think it's a rich man. It's just like a rich kid sport. No. It's not even a sport. I don't call it a sport. It's like darts. Darts isn't a sport. The good drunken night out.
He's winding up. He's winding up. Oh yeah, true.
It's not, but it's not, no. Come on. Listen, a sport means that you've got to surely put a degree of element of your own physicality challenge, and it's got to be tiresome and grueling, and you've got to be like rugby's a sport. Running, like long distance, it's a sport. Yeah. Darts, that's just a night in the piss.
Darts, darts is
it's not a sport.
It's a game. Sport game.
But it's a game. So's a game, yeah. So's hide and seek.
Scrabble. Chess.
Scrabble game. Not a sport.
What about golf? Game or sport?
No, it's a sport. It's a sport, mate.
Ooh. I don't know, mate.
You will get a lot of bad letters if you badmouth sport, badmouth golf. But what I was going to say is this. No, right, okay. Like, actually, do you know what? Golf's up there. That's debatable. That's floppy. I think that's another one where. I mean, really. I mean, I get a bit golf, though. I get puffed. Right. Well, I was going to lay my cards on the table. I am not a great golfer, but I enjoy a round of golf.
Yes, me too.
So
as do I.
It's good. It's good, isn't it?
It's actually hard.
Listen, I get really tired by the time I get to the 18th. I feel like a really old mole man guy.
Yeah.
It's quite hard, doesn't it? But that shows that obviously I'm a bad golfer, and anybody would listen as we go. That guy's.
Or maybe you're not drinking enough during.
Well, maybe maybe I'm in the right place. Maybe if I was like somewhere like Palm Springs, a lot of drink.
See, if you think about golf versus F1, right? You can drink while you're playing golf, but you can't drink while you're doing F1. Or, hey, maybe that's what F1
that's
needs.
Wrong with it. That's what's wrong with it. I remember that. Listen, I was going to say one thing, right? I think that Formula One lost its way once there was a lot less accidents on the track.
That's what people came to see, isn't it?
It's sad but true. There's not enough death and destruction out there. Yeah,
that's the old Caesar.
Listen, but the safer it got, the more corporate and boring it got. Let's just leave that hanging there. But listen, so this is my point.
Next topic. Yeah, but back to the point.
Back to the point, right? So this is my point. Sponsorship, right? I said this before, right? And I've thought about it. So pipe bands get sponsored.
Yes.
By large organisations. One of the big ones just drops out the head is Scottish Power Pipe Band.
Oh yeah.
Sponsored by a huge organisation. And from what I understand, not that I know the figures, but they're a very, very good sponsor. Right?
Can you tell us what the sponsor is?
That's what I'm saying. Scottish Power. Scottish Power is like a utilities company.
Oh, what? I thought it was just a piss take name. It was like, Scottish Power. 3-beat rolls.
That's even better. Right? So, listen to this. So, Scottish Power, right? So, it's a utilities company. So, they're like really massive. They're like really big. Right? And they sponsor Scottish Power, and the Scottish Power technically is the ghost of British Caledonian Airways type thing. I know it's like a big jump between an airline and a utility, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Anyway, the point I'm making is, right, is that they all sat around one night at the pipe band at the committee meeting, and they're like, right, the next letter is we've got John McWackle from Scottish Power sponsor the band, 20 quid a week or whatever. What do we think about this? Is this a good idea, guys and girls? What do you think?
This is too familiar.
Well, that's what it's like, and it's like,
Yeah.
Who are the, by the way, well, there's a whole program dedicated to who are the people that are in pipe band committees.
Look, I'm one of them.
Listen, no, committee members are like that. You've really got to have a serious issue.
If you talk too much about this, I will get kicked off the committee, and then I'll be nothing.
No, listen, it's a dangerous place to be, my friend. Anyway, so the point is so they obviously you get a sponsor, and it helps you with obviously all the wear and tear and all the rest of it, right? My point is there any sponsor that came to your band that offered you a really good financial package every year for the next 5 years that you would say no to? I'm thinking one right off the top of my head, like Tampax, Andrex toilet paper. Right now, so listen,
you can make the bass drum like a big roll of toilet paper.
Listen, you could, and everybody be like, "Oh, look at their hands are all covered in shit." That's why they're sponsored by Andrex. And the jokes would just
because they got shit hands, yeah.
It would never give up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, nah.
You know what I mean? So my question is there a line in the sand where you would say, "I don't care if you're offering me 1.3 million a year, we just can't do it."
Just not doing it.
Is there any? I mean, if somebody said, for instance, came to your guys and says, "Listen, guys, Manly band, right? Vagisil, right? It's a product. It helps with certain orders, right?"
Yeah.
Would you, as an organisation, say, "How much are you paying?"
Yeah, how much are you giving us?
I'll tell you what. Let's go for $90,000 a year for the next $90,000 Australian dollars for the next 5 years.
Where do you want me to sign? Hey, 5 years? 5 years of Vagisil pipe bands? Yeah, we'll get.
Yeah, but
let's just see what happens.
But you've got to call yourself. But this is the great one. It would be called Manly Vagisil.
Yeah. I think this actually work. Hey, if Vagisil's out there, I don't even know if we have that here.
Listen, I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying it's just one of these bizarre things that people say, right? Well, we'd all love sponsorship. You say, well, you'd love sponsorship, but surely there'd be some people that you wouldn't want sponsorship by.
I'm gonna say the best sponsorship, the best possible scenario of sponsorship, I reckon, for a pipe band is a beer company. That's what you want, right? If you work backwards, or whiskey.
Yeah, but listen, can I be honest with you, right? There is. I'm aware of these companies that have done that. But the weird thing is they might not necessarily be the better sponsor, right? And bear with me, right? Bear with me. And that's what I thought, right? So the madness is actually the company which doesn't really have much symbiosis or cross contamination with the produce of piping and drumming.
Yes,
would maybe be the better.
Has to be related somehow.
Well, no, but maybe be the better sponsor. I'll tell you why. Because they might be right mad into it. They'll be like boardroom. So let me think of something. I'm trying to think. Adidas trainers, right? Yeah. Adidas trainers, and all of a sudden they say, "Do you know what? Jurgen?" Because it's a German company. Do you know what, Jurgen? We need a pipe band. That's what we need. A pipe.
Yes.
We need a pipe band.
We are having a pipe band.
We're having a pipe band. And they're like, that's a great idea. And then they go mad for it at the corporate level. They're like, that's a great idea. We could have like Adidas tartan and all that. We're into it.
Whoa.
They would probably be a better sponsor.
Adidas spats?
Oh, I'm loving that.
Oh,
I'm loving it. Oh, no, I'm loving that. You could have, like, down the
Adidas
side,
spats.
the 3 stripes.
Yeah.
Tiger stripes.
Adidas, contact us.
We're getting right off the point here, aren't we? The point is that my point is I want to know if there's anybody getting good sponsorship, who the sponsors are, and how they got it. I mean, a lot of these things that sponsors is, it's normally kind of internally led through someone that knows someone.
Someone knows this guy
in the company, and then they kind of do it that way. I wonder if anybody's cold called. You know, went round there, went round to the back of Jurgen at Adidas.
Yeah.
Factory. Hey, listen, I'm a wee guy for Manly pipe band in Australia, and I want to get sponsored by you guys.
Think about it.
Think about it. I'm a card. Think about it. You know you want to.
You are what we want. You want no. Hold on. I'll work on my pitch. I gotta work on my pitch. I'll just be nervous talking to Jurgen. Well, you're going to Dusseldorf, right?
Mate, they can't get enough of it. In fact, there's a guy called Peter. Listen to this one. That's a weird story. That sounds really good. That sounds solid.
Sounds good, yeah.
There's a...
Jeez, you've almost finished the whole thing.
No, listen. You're starting to sound like my wife here. You completely over-accentuated exactly how much has been drunk, didn't you? So you says you nearly drunk the whole thing there, right? Now, if you look, it wasn't actually full at the top at the start of the recording. It was like halfway down. Right?
We've got it on video. We've got video evidence here. We'll have a look.
There's been a good dent in it, but it's not fully drunk. Yeah. Anyway, so what was I going to say?
I'll get off.
There's a guy called Peter. I'm trying to make his second name. And he dresses up as a Gordon Highlander drum major. There's maybe a podcast in drum majors in itself.
Oh, yeah.
Massively, man. That's a 2-hour session. Yeah. Anyway, so the long story cut short is this guy dresses up like a Gordon Highlander and he marches in front of bands. Now, the year that you were there in Basel, he was in front of Swiss Highlanders.
Oh.
Wee guy.
Okay.
Right, so you think you know how I'm on about?
I think, it might be on
there. Anyway, like I said, I love it whether you remember or not, but the point is that as he is testament, there's a lot of crazy German people out there that, not German people are crazy, by the way.
Whoa, didn't say that.
Didn't say that. What I'm saying is that there is a lot of crazy Germans that go mad crazy for the whole pipe band thing.
Yeah.
It's very popular. Very popular. Very, very popular.
It does something to people, you know what I mean? Some people just take to it like they love it. And not just Scots.
No, I've got listen. It's just a form of music. It's just a form of. You don't need to be anything to be in there. You just need to be in there.
Yeah.
And that brings me to my other point I was going to say. I think that what would be for this podcast? What would you be happy? What would be your level of success? What would be your measure of success of this podcast?
Ooh. All right. If people wanted, if I knew people wanted to listen to this. So, if people were actually saying, hey, you know what? We've got a pipe band, event on, come around and have a chat, shoot the shit, people you just want to be involved as well.
Well, I was going to say that, but I've went a wee bit kind of more left field, right? Because I'm off my nut. But
you going corporate?
No. I'm not going to. Listen, I'm a punk. I never go corporate. Even though John Lydon's came out with that new album and it's terrible, man. That's a different kettle of fish, that, man. The new Public Image Limited album.
I have no idea.
Oh, don't. Anyway, so the bottom line is this, right? I think a measure of success would be the Four Corners drum corps.
Oh yeah, I've heard you mention this before.
Right? So you would have like people, right? Which this is not a new idea. This is old as time almost, right? I mean, this goes back to like Spirit Scotland, the pipe band they had before, right? So the whole idea of a virtual pipe band is nothing new. We're not talking anything new. What I'm saying is if we had a Four Corners drum corps where we had like kind of guys feel like, well, the more four cornerly flung, the better. So like people like from
the corners,
Peru, or I don't know, somewhere like mad. That's not necessarily like we could get Canada. That's an easy fish. That's an easy catch.
Yeah.
Canada, easy. Australia,
Japan.
easy. Now we're talking.
We have someone in the band who was actually from Japan. She moves, but
she moved back to Japan.
Yeah. No. She's still in Australia, but she's from pure Japanese.
Right, listen, Robert. This might sound harsh, right? But it'd be advantageous if you could get her somehow deported, put some stuff shopman or trolley or something like that, and make her no pay for it. Get her deported back to Japan, then she can get back on the podcast, and then we can make her one of the drummers in the Four Corners drum corps. And then, like that wee article tells you, remember, you're like, listen, what's her name? Jeanette or whatever, right? Yeah. Listen, Jeanette.
It's a very Japanese name.
I was the one that falsified the story to the Department of Immigration. It was me that done that. And I've done it for the simple reason I selfishly wanted to improve my podcast. So I got you.
But it's for pipe banding. It's for pipe band's benefit.
But listen, you're like, but you'll thank me for this 2 years, 2 years from now. After this horrific instance passed, and the hatred will so soon subside, and you'll be happy.
In typical Japanese fashion, the Japanese will be doing the pipe band better than any of us could. Within a year.
This is another thing, right? This is another thing. What about these people? If we'd done this Four Corners thing, and imagine the four, like I'm hoping people from like, so I said Peru, Japan. I mean, I was going to say Alaska,
Iceland.
but that doesn't.
No,
Iceland. That maybe what? Yeah, Iceland.
Maybe it's too close to Scotland.
Yeah, but listen, it's close to Scotland, but they've not really got pipe bands.
Yeah,
I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying. I'm not saying that. Listen, I've drunk from that well. Let's leave it at that. Anyway, the point is that wouldn't it be embarrassing if they actually were better than you, and then so these people just decided to kind of, for whatever reason, a clever Bolivian, Peruvian guy says, I'm going to learn this pipe band drumming lark. In about 2 to 3 years' time, he's like, it's like a ghost of death up, man. He's like, show it. And you're like,
smashed me.
And his question, he's going, really, Andrew, do you think that Swiss rough was actually open enough? Do you think that was open enough? You're like, oh, I thought, I'm trying to think of a Peruvian name, Simon. I thought Simon, that was quite good. He's like, that's why you're like that, Andrew, because you're accepting that.
You're stuck in your ways, that. Andrew.
You're accepting that that's quite good.
The teacher becomes the teached.
Well, that's it.
That's the old saying, right?
No, you know what the old saying is? Them that can't teach, and them that can't teach, podcast.
Yeah. I think surely we've got to finish it there. Surely we're going to finish it there.
Done.